Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Miftah Nurjana, and this time I will continue the explanation from my friends about the differences in the use of the, we, or to versus whose in several places. In Tamil also has a DV distinction. One study showed that in one caste past Tamil speaking village, the lower the caste, the greater the T usage. In the upper caste, there was considerable systematical V usage, but also instance of symmetrical DV usage. It seems that in such circumstances, symmetrical T usage is quite non-prestigious, and the greater the V usage, the more prestige. In an attempt to explain this phenomenon, Brown and Levinson postulate that TV usage is tied primarily to kinds of social relationship, and the association of the exchange with low status groups in stratified societies is due to the way that stratification affects the nature of intragroup social relations. While social networks among the upper strata are much more fragmented, people are more independent, and social distance is more normal. Hence, the exchange found in such groups. Family relationships are also more hierarchical, and it also precludes the use of the exchange. In Bolivia, indigenous persons were generally addressed with the familiar form "du" or "vos", were not the recipients on title or politeness formulas, and in certain interaction were asked for information or were directed to perform actions with more directness than were their white mestizo counterpart. And Felicia said that social discrimination was quite obviously at work. She adds that the use of the familiar form in address to indigenous persons seems to be so ingrained in the linguistic behavior of white mestizos that they are not even aware of it. While they thought they were being polite, actually observations show they were not. Inequality was ingrained beyond the reach of social consciences. Let us return to a more democratic Europe and look at some class differences there in TV usage. There is some evidence from Betts and Beniging to suggest that TV usage in Italy is continuing to evolve. Well, however, our class youth and lower class youth tended to behave differently, and upper class youth, faced with the problem of addressing a lower class youth, can use to for solidarity, but two is also a traditional asymmetrical form. The polite lay is self. The result sometimes is that with certain upper class youth, there is an almost complete reversal in the use of do and lee, with lee used for attempt to achieve solidarity with members of the lower classes. Example, waiters and servants, and to use to address professors and employers. But the distinctions may be no less rigid in practice that the use of to and lee before the reversal occurred. There is considerable evidence that power is no longer as important as it once was in determining the V usage. There was begun a dramatic shift in recent years to solidarity. However, many local varieties still remain. For example, solidarity in the French Revolution called for symmetrical tea usage, but in the Russian Revolution, symmetrical V usage. Symmetrical T usage has always been characteristic of lower class relationship, so it may be avoided in certain circumstances to deny any semblance of lower class membership in a quest for politeness. On the other hand, T form have sometimes extends a very special appeal to those of upper class origin, as they have attempt to give their speech a debility democratic flavor. Moreover, that the usage is constantly evolving. It may not even be the case that the evolution is always toward solidarity and away from power. The last is English, of course, has not achieved the distinction. The use of the form by such groups as Quakers is very much a limit, but these T form are solidarity marker for those who do use them. The TV use that remains in English is archaic, found in fixed formulas such as friar or in use in plays written during the era when the TV distinctions was alive or in modern works that try to recapture aspect of that era. It is still possible, however, for speakers of English to show power and solidarity relationship through language. They just have to use other means. As we will see, speakers of English, just like speakers of other language, can use address term for that purpose. Well, I think enough. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.